important guest that will be looking at the incidents, tanker explosions in Nigeria. Now, as at this year alone, we've had series of tanker explosions since the January 2025. On the 5th of January 2025, somewhere in Agbo, Delta State, a tanker lost control and exploded into flames. That particular explosion cost about 5 lives. The same January 2025 on the 18th. In Suleja, there was also another tanker carrying about 60,000 liters of fuel. And that tanker, around Suleja, Niger State, also lost control and killed a whole lot of people. In fact, that particular explosion, we had about 98 people killed, 69 injured, and while about 52 were left in critical conditions. And also the same January 2025, somewhere in Enugu, that's on the 25th of January, in the southeastern part of Nigeria, we also had another tanker explosion between Onitsha and Enugu Expressway. That one equally cost lives, where people were trying to go and scoop fuel. Wow. That particular one was so dear to us because we had about 11 lives lost from Ebonyi State alone in one family in that particular tanker explosion that happened in Enugu. And then, and so forth. It goes on and on. Now, today we are going to be looking at reasons for some of these things and why are people not afraid when there is tanker explosion. And who else can we bring but to bring a man who is grounded in the area of sensitization and what Nigeria is all about when it comes to the area of you should know better. We have Mr. Theophilus Nwokbo he's the State Director, National Orientation Agency of Ebonyi State. Sir, you're most welcome to the program.
Thank you, my sister.
All right, sir. Starting from this, what is your take? Why the incident explosions? We know that you are not you are not with the road safety. So, but you are also in the area of sensitization, and which is perhaps you with road safety. Yes. So, what is the reason?
Okay, you have already said it that since this year, the whole of the media is awash with cases of explosions, burning, and all these things. You get the statistics, but it's not even, it has not already ended. It's just like that. Well, we have, for us to start a program because the Mr. President said national orientation should go and tell the people to stop scooping fuel from accidented tankers. But before we went to the program, we did what we call baseline survey. We are still on it now. When we mapped out areas where we have these cases of, most cases of these tanker failures and all these things. In Ebonyi, for instance, in Africa, we were able to identify this McGregor Hill.
Okay.
Every time you go there, there is one carcass of tanker on the other. Then they ran about. Then we went down to Abumegi. From there, we continued to Onweke, there to Wednesday, and down to that across the border. So we look at it. What we find out was bad road, bend, sharp bend, and again, some of the times the tankers drivers may be weak. They drive overnight or drunk. Those are human factors. But bad road is one of them. Bad road is one of the causes of these tanker crashes here and there.
Can we also attribute faulty vehicles? You know how we tend to, if you plow the roads where you have to use commercial vehicles most of the time, you would have gotten used to manager. I just bought this part, based on how expensive things are. I just bought it, don't worry. Let me just manage it and get there. Can we attribute it to, faulty vehicles and lackadaisical attitude of drivers as well?
It's a factor. It's a factor. That's the human factor. The thing. People manage. Let me manage and go and come back. This will serve me for this place, for this period. And in the event of trying to manage, you see a crash. As you said, so many people have happened in almost all the states. Inflation. That's a recorded one. The ones that were not recorded are many on daily basis.
Okay, but you see, there is an Igbo adage, Agbofu, Otunogwe, Aba Igbo Otunogwe, Obusogwe, Kapirako. One would think that with the first incident, as Laura said, happened on 5th of January, lives were lost. A week or so, less than 2 weeks after that, another one happened, claiming more than 80 lives. So one would think that really people will say, okay, this happens when we go to school fuel, so I'm not going to do this anymore. But then it also happened at Enugu, to be precise. And people still went there. Why does it keep happening? People, I would think that people would, get to that point, they say, no, let's stay off this because we do not want loss of lives and property. But you see people still go to do that. Why?
It's a behavioral problem. Behavioral problem. And that's why we are going on to sensitize them. Please, this 1 liter, 2 liters of fuel you may get is no more than a life. Our life is more important than that small fuel you get. We are telling Okada riders, the Keke riders, the masses who will go and scoop it to go and sell. Please, please stop going off. Let us condemn off areas where you have tankers that crashed. Don't go there. Avoid it entirely. So it's just this tendency to, let me get it and make some more money. At the end of the day, you lost us. Fuel is highly inflammable. By the time we want to do with a pokro with this, the thing will spark again. And before you know it, the thing will go to burn and burn and burn. So we are asking people, stop going to scoop fuel. Love yourself first. And if we imbibe this message, I think that's what it will help us.
Okay, you talked about attitudinal problem.
Yes.
Now, when you talk about attitude, does it also have to do with culture? The culture of it doesn't matter. And do you think there are economic undertone to why people will risk their lives to that extent?
In a way, people want to do it because they want to make money. The fuel is scarce. They say, oh, this is the thing we're looking for. The good we're looking for. They want to scoop it. So if you go yesterday, you can say poverty is part of it. Poverty is part of it. So in that way, that's why I say it is a behavioral problem. Let me do it. I want to get money to sell it, to put in my kake, put in my Okada, and let me make it. So that is it.
Well,
I say that until now, we will make you know that this life has no spare. That it is more important than that your 1 liter of fuel you scoop and run and put it in a machine and run around. It's when you're alive that you can ply the road again. That's what we're saying.
Okay, so in all of this, it's also obvious from what you've said that the most important thing is safety of lives and property. So our main concern now is safety of the citizenry, safety of the properties that the citizens have acquired. So would you be kind enough to run us through the safety procedures when there is a fallen, that's the correct grammar, right? When a fuel tanker laden with fuel crashes on the road, what are the safety measures to ensure that there are no explosions?
Well, I'm only concerned with what the people will do. First of all, is for you to avoid that scene entirely. Then let the fire station nearby come on hand to help. You see, most of them say they will tell you they don't have water, they lack equipment. That's why we're telling government, please fix them. Let them have something to run. So when you hear there's a tanker crash somewhere, they should be there on time to cut off the area and let people run away because it is danger.
Okay, so I want to take you up on this issue of attitude and what your agencies do. I know that from the time of Mansa, you have been, it's been your social responsibility to enlighten people. And one of the things you mentioned here now, when the President Tinubu did say now that it's like a standing order, go out there and sensitize people. And you talked about baseline survey. Now, what exactly are you putting in place? What are the measures you're putting in place that is different, that can really talk to people on how your agency, how people can listen to what your agency is saying? What are those mechanisms you're putting in place?
Okay. Now, while we went on this baseline survey, it's for us to get facts. You can't just go and start saying, hey, don't do this. There are things, 3 persons are involved. The drivers, the masses, and the government. And if I come to see government say, okay, government, you're not doing good in this aspect. These roads are not good. Now, most of the roads, there are no signs. So we are telling people like road safety. There's places you have to put a sign, not to stop the vehicle just like that. Put your sign so that people will know that this place is like the area I told you. Then, for the masses, we are saying, don't go to scoop fuel. When tanker crashes, run away. It is dangerous. Have I mentioned government? Government will also tell them the roads are not good. Bumps here and there. People create bumps. I thank God for what the minister is doing now. He removing all these useless bumps on the road. But some of them still have these potholes. And this is a long vehicle. When the thing enters, it just...
So when you talk about removing these bumps on the road, they are supposed to serve as speed breakers, right? Especially when it has to do with coming into the town. If you talk about removing the speed breakers maybe on the highway where there is not much traffic, it's understandable. But with the kind of orientation that we have, which is now your responsibility on sensitizing people on the road use and all that, do you think that pulling out all the bumps, the speed breakers inside the town, do you think is a safety measure? Considering how these drivers speed. Yes.
My sister, the people that have advantage have disadvantage. And we wait on the balance. If the disadvantages is more than the advantage, we take the other one. So we are saying that some of these banks, the distance, before they match the brake, they might have even somersault or divert to another area. So we are saying that it's not appropriate to build bumps on the expressways because
you're talking about the major highways now.
Major highways, because you may not know the area. Some of the drivers don't know where you're going and also used to that places. They are coming maybe for the first time, so they wouldn't know that at this point there is a bump.
I think that's all the more reason why they need to be careful when they ply the roads. Now, finally, before we go, sir, how flammable is this? I don't want to say petrol, because sometimes it's not just petrol they carry. So there's gas. There's gas. So how flammable are these? Because you mentioned something. You said when there is this incident, people should flee. Is it if it happens here, I should flee to the door, or I should flee and leave the whole of EBBC? Like the meters that these flames would cover, would engulf if there is a spark.
On the body of the tanker, they say highly
inflammable.
Highly inflammable. So to them, yes, they don't know the extent it's going to. But what we're saying that whenever it happens, run as far as we can. Safety first, because life. What are you watching there to start with? So what are you watching there? If you go to the others, you know that it is somebody's goods that is burning like that. You don't even have sympathy on a person. You want to scoop away. It's not
it's not helping the person. No, just so that the thing the whole thing will not waste, right? It has fallen. So it's spinning. So
okay, so I think we should also look at the trunks. When they say trunk A, trunk B roads. Yes. I think perhaps in your survey, don't you think you should also capture that? Because like the trunks that these trucks use should be different from where the normal vehicles should use. So in your survey, Are you also looking at those factors, as especially now that some of these major roads are being reconstructed and even new ones popping up? So do you think that that can also help in a way to, slow down and break the rates of these fall-offs of tankers?
Yes, if I can take advantage of his side. This road, this highway now that passes, it used to be a bypass. In those days, they are what they call bypass. Outside the town, they build a road, but the town keep expanding. So those roads were made for tankers, for tippers, all these big vehicles. But today you see it inside the town. And for the fuel station, they want to go to empty the tank in the fuel station there. It's right inside the town. So, and it happens. Like the one happened at Anambra, at this Mency police station. Just to go to the church, and things happened there. So maybe go back to that having bypass.
All right. Many thanks. Well, this is how far we would go on this topic today. Although it's a continual discussion we'll be having, because, you have your work cut out for you. So I want to say many thanks, Mr. Theophilus Nwakpo, for being on the program today, the State Director, National Orientation Agency. Thank you for being on the program today.
Thank you.
And when we return from this break, we'll be having Loveth Onyebuchi join us for Trending Stories.
welcome back. Now we bring you trending stories with Lovett Onyebuchi.
Hi, beautiful people. Yeah, you're welcome to Sunrise. Of course, it's our gossip segment, and I am Lovett Onyebuchi. I'm glad to be here, like we always do. How are you, Amaka?
We are glad to have you,
Oh,
Madam Oppressor.
Don't mind her. She thinks she has come to oppress us with her latest gossip. So let's hear it.
Let's quickly run to the gossip corner. And this morning I came with, of course, our top story this morning is the fight that happened at UNIZIC. You can imagine, a place where we learn and study. Well, we got to know, according to reports, that there was a fight between a student and a lecturer, of course, is Dr. Chukwudi Michael Okoye. And we discovered that the student was actually making a video. According to our video, we got online. Of course, it's everywhere because it went very viral, where the student in question, Miss Precious, was doing a video in the walkway, and that is the corridors of the university hall. And one thing led to the other. The lecturer was also trying to use that walkway, and along the line he tapped her on the shoulder, on the hand, and said, "Excuse me." You know, the student now turned, so that let's have that video. The student turned and saw the lecturer, and she muttered something, you know, and the lecturer stepped back. You can see the lecturer stepped back because her statement was sarcastic. So he turned, went to her and said that you have to delete that video. You have to delete that video where I appeared. And she got into a fight with the man. She beat him. Let's have the clip of the bites on the hand of the man, while the nurse was actually trying to give him an injection to that effect. Of course, they bring up that video, and this morning, that is what we want to start with. Amaka, let me even begin with you. What do you think? Can you make of that story?
Well, I don't think there was any justification. I saw that yesterday, and the student. I hear that the student is actually a lecturer's daughter in the university, right? In that same university. But, you know, I do not want to say I blame the lecturer entirely, but the scripture says something about not listening, eavesdropping, or you might hear your servants abuse you. That's somewhere in Ecclesiastics. I remember that. You had passed already. Leave her. Whatever it is she wants to say, that's her business. But the girl was very rude, to the point of fighting your lecturer. Where I would be upset about all of this is if the school doesn't do anything. Well,
there was actually a press statement by the university management, and they said they are going to wade into the matter and do the necessary
investigation. That's what we keep hearing. I don't think this man was rude. Look at he just you know that's that. If not that we are raising children who think that being assertive means you can open your mouth and talk to your elder anyhow you want. This case should not arise. Someone taught you, excuse me, why are you even making video at the corridor of the school? By the way, people are passing. It's not like it's your own. It's he didn't do anything,
and you did not even get permission to take people's video.
Do you understand?
She can actually,
that's where the lecturer actually wanted to speak to fence. You have my video.
Did you have signed consent?
Yes, without my consent. So I want you to delete it, because I can't have you, or I can't have myself appear in your video and all of that. Well, we are looking for a girl's mother, is also a lecturer in that. And she came up with her own side of the story, where she said that the lecturer abused her, assaulted her, and all of that.
Does she have evidence to show that the lecturer assaulted her?
Someone said it's AI generated, according to the...
Oh, well, the investigation is ongoing.
Okay, so moving on, we have the story of a relationship expert whose marriage ended in 3 years. And she's also a marriage counselor. Of course, she advised women in 2022 to always welcome home their cheating husbands with an open hands and treat them well, you know, give them a royal treat, serve them good food and all of that. So most women didn't actually digest that advice properly and very well, because of course some women will not even allow you to even talk about treating the cheating husband well. Where she advised them to go, she's married to a pastor, a Ghanaian pastor, and she advised women to treat their husband well. So after 3 years, that was 2022, and today, just last week, her divorce came up online, and that's what is trending.
Oh, well. Love it. I'll say what works for A does not work for B. Okay. I mean, telling me to welcome my cheating husband with open arms. So, wow. I don't know. I don't know. Because, and to think that she's a relationship expert, so what went wrong? She couldn't welcome him back anymore?
No, and her husband is a pastor.
And her husband is a pastor.
Okay.
You understand? So, I don't know.
All right.
Different strokes for different folks.
But Lover didn't say it was cheating. Was it because the man cheated?
They know what happened.
You know the amazing thing is
that it was cheating. Who knows? They wouldn't want to come out with that accusation.
There was a presenter in Enugu, one of the radio stations in Enugu some time ago, years back, who said something that if you are not married, you have no excuse dishing out relationship advice to people who are married. All right? And you know, there's the only good thing about this is just so that people will know. People who use social media as their all. They get advice from there. So these people are right and all of that. So it must be the right one. So they'll just say that social media na cruise, as we would say on the street. So when you're picking, not the one you're picking. You see, relationship expert, marriage don't crash. May God help them. I hope they come back together.
Okay, so in like manners, we also have the case of Paul Wokocha, whose wife, who has already divorced the second wife, not just the first wife. And he said that he is ready to divorce more women because of cheating. So if he finds out the wife cheats, you are going home to your father's house. And just before we go on the program this morning, let me bring you the report of Vicky James, a talented, sensational fashion designer who did her 1-year marriage anniversary, celebrated 1-year marriage anniversary yesterday. In fact, it's like a week-long stuff because when the week started last week, she has been posting different kinds of designs, clothing, and all of that. In fact, she got tongue wagging and talking. How can you be this lavish over 1-year anniversary celebration and all of that? So, do you think she made a mistake?
Pepper them, red, pepper them, you know, they pepper them. So she wants to pepper them now.
Okay.
Yes, now if you have it, flaunt it.
Okay.
I guess that's what she's doing.
And you know the thing is, well, the point that people are missing is not business.
Yes.
My friend is a tailor. If Vicky James posts, it just be like na Jesus posts. And Vicky is cashing out content. People, you say somebody will go and look. Let me see what has she posted. Before they come and say, this girl on top 1 year, baby's doing another thing. They should continue.
Yeah, but in my own terms, so I would want to give her kudos to that because most marriages these days don't even last up to 2 weeks. We hear breakups after 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So she's just been thankful.
Babe,
God that it lasted for 1 year. That's much I can take on this program. Follow us next session for more of the sunrise assembly.
Okay. All right, many thanks. I love it, and Buchi, with all your asiri, like you said. And we hope that you have enjoyed that much that we could bring you on what's trending today. Well, this is where we'll be calling it a shot for today on Sunrise on Salt Television. I want to say a very big thank you to Love It for being on the show. And
I'm glad to be here.
Abaka?
Yeah, so thank you so very much for joining us on Sunrise. Just a quick observation. On my way to work today, I noticed lots of young children walking to school alone. I think we need to do something about that.
Very important.
Yeah, sure.
Enjoy a beautiful Wednesday.
Have a great day.
Bye.